I said, I've never said that in my life. And yet you guys quote me as saying that this is the worst thing of all the people that you're attacking, that I'm the worst one. And so Mark Potok got on the phone after that, and he was emailing me and calling me and emailing me and calling me. And I said, look, you're either going to settle this with me and we'll take care of this as gentlemen, or I'm going to sue you. And they would not have anything to do with being upfront or honest about it, so I sued them. And they did print a retraction. They came back to me later, and they said, you're right. You didn't say that, what we said you said. It was just a mistake on the transcription. So you know darn well it wasn't a mistake. I told him that. I'm not telling you that, Alex. I told that to Mark Potok. I said, you know darn well it was not a mistake.
Well, look.
And they have caused me a lot of damage, just like you said. And other sheriffs have been...
Well, no, that's what they use to get you canceled, speaking to law enforcement groups.
Oh,
exactly. Is they said, listen, we all know they're writing the MIAC and Homeland Security reports with the ADL. It's admitted they do. And when you get the internal stuff that we've broken from good police and sheriffs and federal marshals and state police that have sent us these things over the years, it's trying to induce this state of craziness. Do they wear blue jeans? Is there Ron Paul stickers, cell phones? Goggles, masks, recording equipment. Do they pay cash for coffee? Who doesn't pay cash for coffee when it's $2 or $1.50? I mean, it's crazy that this is going on, and it's
I'll pay cash
exactly.
But let me tell you one other thing.
It's total paranoia is what they're trying to induce, where we don't trust each other and the police don't trust the citizens, and it's an us against them, but we trust Janet Napolitano, who's shipping guns into Mexico.
Right, exactly. And I will tell you that when I get to Congress, that I'm going to follow the money trail with the Southern Poverty Law Center. I'm going to see how much money from the FBI, CIA, and other federal law enforcement agencies has been shuttled over to, smuggled, I should say, over to Southern Poverty Law Center. I know they get a lot of contracts with the federal government. I want to know how much ACORN-type money has gone to the Southern Poverty Law Center. I want to see what the relationship is there. I want to stop all that funding, just like they've done to Planned Parenthood and ACORN and other groups. I know darn well they get federal money. I want it publicized how much and how much support the
our money
is giving them.
They use our money against us, and it's time it stops. These slugs get our money and then try to tell people we're bad for our First Amendment.
Right.
On our money, trying to silence us.
Yeah, and they've done nothing to combat what the abuses of government are. They've never stood against destroying farms and families and the Amish or anybody else. But they
always demonize. Well, and now they're even demonizing the Amish. I mean, now they're Al-Qaeda. But let's expand on this. You don't file lawsuits to lose. I mean, you want the Supreme Court. You've been successful. Right. So you looked at this, and I know it's only been a few months, and these things move slow. But when will we get some updates? I guess they've either got to respond, settle, or there's going to then start being the discovery. Ooh, that's going to be fun.
I know discovery will be fun, and we're just getting now into discovery issues. We're right now fighting their motion to dismiss on some ridiculous technicalities. But their lawyers are shrewd. You know darn well they have a bunch of lawyers who are very seasoned lawyers, very expensive lawyers. Their goal is...
They're the Justice Department. I mean, they are the Justice Department.
Yeah, those types.
I mean, it's come out that they are basically the Justice Department, just as a quasi-private group. It's the Justice Department.
Right.
It's like the communist element of the Justice Department.
So that's where we are at this point. We're fighting that one. Their lawyer just met with my lawyer. And let me tell you another. Their plan is to keep trying every technicality that they can so that they can hurt us financially on this and that we won't be able to continue financially. Let me guarantee you, Alex, that's not going to happen. Okay? I've already talked to my lawyer.
Well, look, when it comes to libel, slander, and defamation, it doesn't matter if they say you're a public figure. It doesn't matter if they say they're a media outlet. When you start saying that people are saying kill cops, that is dangerous. That goes in databases, as you know.
Exactly. That puts me under investigation from the FBI or federal agencies now because of what Southern Poverty Law Center has said. They should...
No, they're going to lose. You cannot do that. That's the worst thing you can say about somebody, is that you're calling for killing people.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable. We'll be right back. Stay there. Big article up at Infowars.com that needs to get a lot of attention. Obama plays race card, calls on churches to support campaign. in a PSA. So now government PSAs are campaign ads on race, and then say, use the churches to get me elected with him in the Oval Office, or what looks like the Oval Office. You're not supposed to do that. They commit any crimes they want, do whatever they want. Those of us that stand up and say, we just want America back, we just want freedom. Oh, you're evil, you're a terrorist, you're bad. Years ago, Sheriff Mack, after you'd won your case and were running for sheriff again, you got visited by the FBI with warrants, didn't you, on a little fishing expedition. They tried to put a former Treasury agent in jail who was exposing that the IRS was really collecting money for the private Federal Reserve. All that's true. Yep. Whatever happened with that case when they were politically going after you?
Well, it was 3 days before my election. I actually moved to Utah to run for county sheriff there, and 3 days before the election, the FBI and IRS raided my office. It was actually aimed at a guy that I had a contract with, and with that contract, he provided me an office. But it was all aimed at him, but they somehow thought they should put my name on their search warrant. But there was no charges levied against me.
And then that was put in the news because you were ahead in the polls.
Of course.
To make you lose.
Yeah, I already won the convention. They have a process there where you kind of meet like the national convention here with Republicans when they nominate their guy. Well, it was a Utah County convention, and I won that 2-1. 2-1 over the incumbent and one of his lieutenants that was also running against him. And so, yeah, I almost won the whole thing right then and there. And so they had to find a way to go after me. And, if somebody else had come up to me off the street at one of my events and said, hey, the FBI and IRS raided my office while I was running for office, I would have never believed it, Alex. I'm not kidding you. That's just too far out there for me. But it actually happened to me. In fact, my wife is here next to me, and she was there at the time. She was the receptionist. Yeah. So anyway, it was a very...
Who would have believed... But I mean, who would have believed? Well, maybe we can do a little bit of overdrive and talk to your wife on air here.
Yeah.
Who would have believed, Sheriff Mack, that they'd be shipping guns into Mexico and then to use it to blame the Second Amendment? And in those federal cases that the media won't cover, it's also drug dealing. What do you make of Obama? I don't know if you've seen this video, but it's on Infowars.com, putting out what looks like an Oval Office address, but it's really a campaign ad telling people, get your church to vote for me. Use your church as a campaign office. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, isn't that astonishing that he's forcing these churches to violate their own 501c3 charitable tax exemption, IRS tax exemption? So he's actually violating the law with them. He's actually encouraging them to violate the law that was a stupid law in the first place. No church should be 501c3. That is an obvious violation of the First Amendment, but it's obvious that this administration, Obama, doesn't care about the First Amendment with this recent...
It's all selective.
Yeah, of course it is. Whatever helps him.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever maintains his power over the American people so that they can continue this affront known as Agenda 21 and NDAA. And how is it that any Republican in their right mind in Washington would allow President Obama the authority to use the military against American citizens on American soil? Wow, that actually happened.
Well, that was a big wake-up call. I mean, NDAA has woken up so many people.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of overdrive. Sometimes we do the fourth hour live. Sometimes we don't. But sometimes it's the first hour re-aired. But we're going to come back with Sheriff Richard Mack. And if your wife wants to pop in and say hi, then that'd be great as well.
Okay.
And, of course, he's old-fashioned, folks. He has a wife. I know that's probably going to be illegal soon. But we'll be right back in 1 minute. I got a wife, too. I'm sorry. Come on.
Thank you for listening to GCN.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sheriff Richard Mack is our guest, and we are talking to him about the whole New World Order system. Of course, he's the sheriff that took it all the way to the Supreme Court and got the Brady Bill overturned. And he is now trying to organize sheriffs around the country to defend the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and their state jurisdiction, and not just let the feds come in and do whatever they want. The feds are now announcing they're going to have cops for regular crime on the streets, and they have TSA who aren't even sworn police. commanding the police. It's like, oh, you're a pot-bellied government idiot who isn't even sworn or trained. You're now going to command everybody. I mean, I've seen it on the news where TSA is commanding the state police at checkpoints on the highway. What do you make of the TSA power grab, A? And then B, what do you make of the huge awakening to Agenda 21 that even the New York Times bemoaned and panicked? They admit the UN's advising and taking over the land, but they said the UN's good. We need them to run things. See, they don't deny the global government now, Sheriff Mack. Now it's like, well, they need to run things, extremists. So we were extreme to say they were taking over. It didn't exist. Now that it is, though, it's like, well, you should want the UN to run things, not the nasty sheriff.
Well, I was really proud of the state of Texas for taking action against the TSA. And then, of course, the TSA and the federal government made this threat of making Texas a no-fly zone. And so a lot of these wimps in the Texas legislature backed off. But the TSA is another conditioning of Americans. And it's also the conditioning of the TSA employees. I just follow orders. I just do whatever I have to. The video where the TSA is actually groping the 6-year-old little girl, that was the beginning of our presentation at the sheriff convention. And so we're showing those abuses over and over. And then at the end, we showed, is it time yet? And then it went right into our CSPOA constitutional sheriff logo that shows a sheriff with a badge swearing to uphold and defend the Constitution, taking his oath that shows that. And so that kind of conditioning is alarming because it's increased at such a phenomenal pace that this is why a lot of sheriffs are waking up and a lot of Americans are waking up. And I do appreciate the abuse of Barack Obama being so acute that he has awakened so many people, and including sheriffs. I believe that's the reason we had about 100 sheriffs at the convention. I believe that's why we still have a lot of interest in what we're doing. And again, please have your audience go to countysheriffproject.org. You can see a lot of those videos there. You can see some testimonials of people who were actually there. And this, again, Alex, this is the good news today. It was good news. It is good news. We're proceeding with this. We're making this bigger, better, and faster. And the event in Las Vegas proved that we can do this. We raised the money for it. We're still asking for help with that. Go again to countysheriffproject.org. And again, for my website for running for Congress, that's sheriffmackforcongress.com.
Well, again, instead of just complaining about the globalists, the New World Order all day, we're taking action. You're taking action. Ron Paul is. I am. Obviously, a big part of it is exposing, like the Founding Fathers did with committees of correspondence, the crimes and activities of the globalists, as you did at your conference, but then taking action against them with solutions. And that's what this radio show is a platform for people like you to bring in the solutions and the ideas. And it's up to listeners and viewers to take action. Thank you, Sheriff Mack.
Hey, thank you too, Alex, and I hope to see you soon. I hope your event in Orlando is great. Again, sheriffmackforcongress.com, and I thank you so much, and the people that at GCN Network that helped us with this solution.
Thank you, my friend. You bet. Okay, now I'm going to be back tonight. There's more coming up, but I'm going to be back tonight, 7 o'clock. We've got some pieces, and we're going to have some special guests. And, of course, my anchors there at the office, Darren McBrain, is going to be hosting InfoWars Nightly News this Friday, 7 o'clock Central. If you're not a subscriber to Prisonplanet.tv, it's amazing. All the films and the TV show and more. There's a 15-day free trial right now. Prisonplanet.tv. Great job, the crew.